Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox. That's Ben Olson. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. We've got an email here from Hayden.
Hayden says, hello, Ben and Nathan, and then gives us a bunch of scores that Hayden has gotten on practice tests in the 160s and some in the 170s. You've both spoken previously about how when someone takes the test, there's a given range of scores that a person can get given their ability and luck with question types and content. Okay, we've never said that exactly, and it seems obvious that my range has been improving over the long run. However, with my two most recent scores, the data points in the other direction. Is that I just hit 4 170 plus scores that close together out of sheer luck? An act of statistical unlikeliness? I'm actually getting worse at the test? Or perhaps that the two most recent tests are outliers or some combination of some or all of the above. Okay, so Hayden had some scores in the 170s, and the last two scores were 165 and 166.
Shit happens, dude. There's going to be ups and downs.
The stock market is a little squiggly line that
it doesn't
slowly marches up, but it's
anything.
All over the place. Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. I mean, you know, it's like Hayden has partially taken it on board that we have repeatedly said that there's a range, there's going to be some variance in your range always. Don't take too much data. Don't ever just make too much out of any 1 or 2 or 3 data points.
Yeah, well,
but
also,
then they turn around and do exactly that.
They do exactly that. Well, also, Hayden, look at this. Your fourth test was a 169. Your fifth test was a 163. That's a drop of 6 points.
Yeah.
That's a bigger drop than the drop that you just experienced by going from 170 to 165 and then up to 166. So you're putting a lot of weight on these two recent tests when a similar thing happened in the past. And look, you recovered and you continued to climb and get higher over time.
Yeah. But you also do have variance at all times during this process. Yeah. Like when you scored that first 170, I don't think your actual ability is 170. I think your actual ability at that point is 166 plus or minus 5. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, you can sometimes get lucky and score in the 170s. But then when you did then score in the 170s, 4 out of your next 5 attempts, right? Mm-hmm. That's 4 170s out of 5 attempts in the middle there.
Yeah.
Now I believe that you're, you know, like I would update my priors and I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. So you're like probably a 170, 171 average. And there's still going to be pluses and minuses. There's still going to be plus or minus 5 around that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you score a 165 and a 166 on your last 2 tests doesn't have to mean anything to me. It's certainly not that you're getting worse at the test. Now, did you do anything differently on those tests though? Like, did you get so excited about being in the 170s that you've now decided that you need to try to finish every section? Because that's a problem, right? You need to be taking it one question at a time and just solving it. And so I worry sometimes that somebody like Hayden, they get so excited about the progress that they've made that then they start like overreaching. Mm. But my only advice is just review all your mistakes, keep taking practice tests, keep accumulating these data points. It's not going to surprise me at all if you score higher than you've ever scored on your next test. Like 175, would a 175 here shock you given this record?
Not at all.
Yeah, it seems like you're on your way up, but there's going to be bumps and there's going to be ups and downs during that ascent.
Yeah, everybody needs to look at the questions that they get wrong. This is what you just said. They need to look at the questions that they got wrong and learn from them. There is nothing else to do.
Right. But that's just not how many students' brains just don't work that way. They always want to go for the abstraction or they want to go for the like
big
bigger
takeaway. Yeah.
The bit, you know, like all they care about is their 120 to 180 score. And it's like, yeah, okay, that at the end of the day, that's what matters. But the way you get there is by just reviewing your individual mistakes. So, I mean, how many mistakes do you think Hayden made in these 13 practice tests?
Lots.
Like 100?
Yeah.
Right.
Easily.
I mean, or more. Right. Yeah. So it's like, dude, are you learning the maximum from each one of those mistakes? Because that's the only thing that actually matters. That's the only thing that's going to actually move the needle here is that you've got to be learning from the mistakes you're making.
Yeah. Focus on the process and the results will just come over time.
What do we think about this last question? Hayden says, additionally, how much should one weigh more recent practice tests relative to older tests, if at all?
I mean, slightly more, because a recent test is going to be a little more informative than the one you did when you first started.
So exactly how much, Ben? Is it 20% more? Is it like a curve that's relative to how recent the test is?
An exponential curve that...
Do I need to do like a regression analysis of the... Yeah. I mean, I'm clowning, obviously, but my point is like, this is exactly the type of thing that just isn't productive. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, I appreciate you writing in, Hayden, but my advice is just don't worry about shit like that. You need to worry about solving each question. And then if you struggle with a question, you need to read our written explanations, watch our video explanations, and write a thoughtful question to our amazing Ask Button team if you're still confused. We got a whole team of tutors sitting there waiting for you to say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
I wonder, it's interesting, right? Do you think Hayden uses the Ask Button? Because most people don't. There's a whole team of tutors there, and most Demon subscribers don't even know that they're there. Like, don't even use the Ask Button.
Yeah.
But that's where the learning is going to actually take place, is when you get so into the weeds on a written explanation for a question that you struggled with, that you then write a thoughtful question to the Ask team and you get the clarification that you need.
Yeah.
That's where the learning happens. And that's what's going to actually make your scores go up over time. Everything else is just going to be like a lot of random variance and a lot of shit that just doesn't really matter. Anything more for Hayden?
No. Thanks for writing in. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.